to be glad that you graduated from high school and that you're alive at 18, and you need to do something with yourself before you end up like he did.
Jada Pinkett Smith is known for delivering compelling performances over her 30-year career. That's right, 30 years in the business, like in the film Menace to Society, and for having hard conversations as host and creator of the daytime Emmy-winning show Red Table Talk. She is now revealing her own truths in her deeply personal memoir, Worthy. In it, she discusses her rebellious childhood, marriage to Will Smith, and mental health struggles. She writes, quote, "For 2 decades, I had been putting on a good face, going with the flow, telling everyone I was okay. Yet underneath bouts of depression and overwhelming hopelessness had smoldered until they turned into raging hellfire in my broken heart." Jada Pinkett Smith is here. How you doing? Good morning.
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad that you're here. Many assume that you had the perfect career, that you had the perfect life. But you write that you didn't anticipate living past 40 years old. What was going on internally?
Well, I just think there was so much unresolved issues. And I probably did have the perfect life. I just couldn't see it because there was so much hurt and imperfection within me. And so, you know, I had to go in a long healing process to get to a place of joy and happiness. You know?
And you're very transparent in the book about that. Now, you have accomplished so much, like you mentioned, right? We're talking decades in this business. At times, fighting the resistance of the industry. After looking back, now do you wake up and feel worthy?
Oh, absolutely. It took me a long time to get there, you know, but like I talk about in the book, you know, when I turned 50 and I looked myself in the mirror, I was like, came through, girl. You did it.
We here.
We here.
We here.
You know? Yeah.
And you also had some revealing facts about your childhood and then the young teenage years where you were dealing drugs.
Yeah.
And you had an idea of yourself becoming a queen pin.
I wasn't good at it, but as you read in the book, you know, I got robbed several times. Yeah.
Held at gunpoint.
Yeah, several times.
Looking back at that time in your life, what stands out?
Man, I just can't even believe it. You know, it's just the Jada that I was and just growing up into that environment and what I thought it took to survive and what I thought it took to like regain a sense of worth.
Yeah.
You know, because my mom, she was an addict and, you know, I didn't know whether she was gonna make it. So I was like, I gotta figure this out for myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm out here.
You're out here.
I'm out here.
Trying to survive.
And
you did. You survived and you made it to Hollywood. You got an acting gig. You get this relationship going with Will Smith and become the it couple, the power couple, as we call #goals. And then it comes to find out back in 2016 there was a separation.
Yeah.
But what you call it was a complete transparency between you two.
Yeah.
Basically saying you can do whatever you want with whoever you want as long as we're on the same page. And you created a distinction between that and an open relationship.
Yes.
Did that work? And the next question would be, do you have any regrets?
So you're talking about 2016?
2016.
I would say that separation did work because I really feel like for myself, I needed time for emotional maturity.
Okay.
You know, really looking at, first of all, I was in a deep healing process, and I think I needed to really dissolve some false ideas of what marriage is, false ideas of what I thought Will needed to be for me versus what I needed to learn to be for myself in order to have a loving relationship.
Okay.
Right? So I had to really do some deep healing.
And there was some healing done.
Yeah.
And some would call healing in front of the world. Red Table Talk.
Yes.
Bring Will on.
Yeah.
Some understand why you would want to use your platform to talk about your relationship. You guys live out loud in public.
Right.
Others sympathize with Will. They said, this is emasculation.
Right.
This is the public execution of a man's ego.
Right.
How do you feel about people who have that perspective on that moment?
Well, I think people should understand, if you read the book, you get a better understanding of what that particular situation was. Will decided he wanted to come to the table.
Right.
And at that time, we weren't together, which I didn't talk about.
And you say Will didn't want to reveal that you weren't together.
Yeah, we didn't want to reveal that because...
Neither of you thought that it would be a blow to Will's ego? A guy who has self-admittedly said, you know, my public perception means a lot to me.
You know, that was Will's choice, you know? And so I think at that particular point in time, we were both going through a process of dissolving this idea of what a relationship should look like and really just be honest about the difficulties that come with being in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Right? And at that time, I decided to take the hit and untruth of being, you know.
You took a hit.
I took a hit, you know, as being an adulterous wife, which was not true, but
the perception, because you let everybody know, oh, we're still together, that's what we thought.
Exactly.
So we didn't know any different. I'm saying we as the public.
Absolutely.
But speaking of hit, you know, the holy joke, the holy slap, holy lessons. You talk about that slap and what happened when Will Smith walked up on that stage. And you said, you know, this is his fight. I'm gonna let Will fight this fight.
Yeah.
Do you still believe that should be the case when Will literally walked up on that stage and kind of fought for you in that moment?
Well, see, that's a really deep subject.
It's a deep subject, for sure.
Right.
It's very layered as well.
I think you got to be really careful about the why.
The why.
Okay? So that's Will's story to tell. Now,
not yours.
Not mine. So what I will say is that being there with him that night, what I did know was that I might not have walked in there as his wife, but I left that night.
As his wife.
As his wife. And as I sit here today, I am going to be by his side
as
always.
To you.
That's right.
And as you guys live out loud, as he called it, this beautiful relationship.
This beautiful relationship.
What do you want people to take away from all of this? I mean, you give us the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well, see, that's what people need to take away. It's like, listen, you know, this fantasy that relationships should be perfect, this fantasy that people should be perfect. It's like life is nuanced.
Yeah.
Life is complicated.
Yeah.
And what's most important is that when you have somebody with you that's willing to learn how to love, and you two are willing to learn how to love each other, ride it out.
Jada Pinkett Smith, I appreciate you. The book is out now, Worthy. We'll be right back.